In this short video, you're going to learn how to use the sewer camera to sell between $150,000 and $200,000 a month. I know it sounds extreme, so I'm going to introduce you guys to Mr. Rob Connelly. He's been doing this since 1985, but for the last 5 years, he has been able to do plumbing, service and repair, and focus on drains, and use the ultimate tool of the sewer camera and locator to get some ethical change orders to bring his numbers up between $150,000 to $200,000 a month. And we're going to explain to you in this video step by step on how you can perform this yourself and get similar results. Okay, so Mr. Rob Connelly, can you take the mic and tell us what is some of the secret sauce that has allowed you to hit such big numbers in the plumbing industry?
Absolutely. I've been doing this since 1985. I spent my first 9 years doing construction work. So I didn't become natural at this at first. I had to practice just like the rest of us. So for me, it didn't come naturally. So I had to start training myself, reading books and things like that. But we'll get started off real quick. But when you're on the way to a service call, and I think you and I talked about this, Tony, about how we all have our lives, things that affect us, things that negatively affect us. Your kid got in trouble at school, your dog's got to have some kind of a surgery or whatever, your wife's yelling at you. You've got to clear your head because it's going to affect you on the job if it doesn't. Put all that stuff behind you, turn on a little music, turn on some kind of self-help book, or turn the radio off completely and just clear your head. If you don't get your attitude right, the homeowner's going to sense that. It's a super simple thing that will mess you up from the word go. It's something else too I do when I take in a yellow legal pad, a small one. And so what I do before I get to the house is I'll pull over a street away or whatever, and I'll write their name on that tablet. Because people like being called by their names, not sir and ma'am. Try to address them by their first or last name. A lot of times they'll introduce, and I ask them if it's okay to call them by their first name. You don't have very many people that tell you no, but some people will say, no, my name's Mr. Jones. Great, Mr. Jones, I got you covered. But when you arrive, you don't want to be sitting out in front of their house. They're watching you. They're looking for you to pull up. You don't want to be out there on your phone with a bunch of stuff on your dash. You got to look the part. When you get out of the truck, your shirt needs to be tucked in. Have a fresh shave on. So many of us don't realize that they made an opinion of you as you're walking up to the door. I'm not saying run up to the door, but don't go slowly either. Walk with confidence and have what you need. So when they enter, we open the door, and I don't ring doorbells. First of all, strangers ring doorbells. People knock on doors. It's different, and it gives a whole different sense to things. Some people ask you, "Why didn't you ring the doorbell?" And if they ask me that, I say, "Well, I don't know if you have any babies asleep, so I didn't want to wake anybody up." It's a real good comeback on that. But I always set my expectations right when I get there. I look at my little pad. I say, well, I see that we've got a drain stoppage today. But yeah. We were taking a shower and the bathtub backed up. We don't know what's causing this. We bought the house new 15 years ago, and now the whole house is backed up. Well, it really sounds like something's changed, Ms. Jones. Let me tell you what to expect today. First, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about what's going on. I don't want to go down the wrong rabbit hole. Then we're going to do some diagnostics. I'm going to take you around, ask you some more questions. Once we figure out what's going on, I want to provide as many solutions as I can provide for you. And then whichever one you picked, we can get that taken care of for you today. Does that sound okay to you? Things like that. But before I go into any of that, wherever my truck is parked, and we don't park in driveways, even if you don't leak any oil, you don't want them to think you leaked any oil. But when I park in the street, I always try not to block a mailbox, a neighbor, or the trash bins or whatever. We're trained to get people to say yes. You always, that's so many ways that the trainers get people used to saying yes. Most people are pretty savvy and they'll smell that like a fart in a car. It's not a good idea. I mean, some people may disagree with this, and that's okay. But I believe it's a bad idea to start getting them prepped to say yes. As a matter of fact, I do exactly the opposite. I will ask them, is my truck going to be blocked? Or am I going to be blocking anybody the way I'm parked? No. I want to start with no almost every single time. Why? Because it gives people the sense that it's okay to say no. It's psychological. You want them to feel that they're in control and that they have the right to veto anything that you're saying at any given point. It takes down the guard. They feel confident and comfortable now that you're not going to come in and just grab their checkbook and start writing checks with it. They want the ability to feel that they have the right to veto whatever you're saying. And it's an extremely powerful thing. And if you don't understand it, go and get the book by Jim Camp. And it's called Start with No. It's one of the most powerful things that I use when I'm doing sales. So that's one thing. And I guess I can go through the actual process. I can add some psychology into it here and there. But once I go through, and I'm asking these people a lot of questions, but I'm not really talking that much. I want them to talk. I want to say everything I need to say with the least amount of words possible. People buy, they say that people buy from people they like, and that's not necessarily true. You have to appreciate that there's 4 different personality traits or behavioral traits, and that doesn't work on everybody. And I forgot what I was going to say.
Right. We're going through the service call, and you arrived at the call at the job, and now you're at the door, right? And so let's go through the whole service call and down to the change order, down to collecting, and we're just so right now you're arrived, you're getting through your first impression, and you're introducing yourself.
So after I've gone through and I've explained to them about what to expect for the day, we go through. I'm asking them questions. And I'm going to go to a water heater because it's the easiest thing to use. So most of us, just about everybody's using options today, I believe. It's not anything new anymore. It was new in I don't know, what was it? The mid 90s, I think, is when that started surfacing. So when it comes to the water heaters, most of us, in my opinion, pencil whip the options. We go out, and if you offer a 8, 12, and 15-year warranty, right? That's your standard warranty water heaters you offer. A lot of us go in there when we present our 3 options, which option 1's an 8-year, option 2's a 12-year, option 3 is a 15-year. So during all my questions and things like that, I'm going to ask them during a phase that I call price conditioning, which one that they are most interested, 8, 12, or 15-year warranty. Then the guy goes, well, and I'll say, well, how long do you plan on living here? Well, we're not going anywhere. They're going to carry us out in a box. Then I may ask them, do you think the 15-year warranty would be the best one for you? Bob, I think we want the 12. Okay, great. Okay, so we've already eliminated 2 options off that option sheet. They've already told you they want 12-year warranty. So I've already got that in my mental notes. We're going 12 years. So during the process here in Houston, 9 out of 10 water heaters are in the attics. It is what it is. Summertime's a wonderful time for me to upsell. I'm going to start talking. I'm going to ask them more questions about this. And we find water in the pan, and the missus starts kind of freaking out. Well, we don't have any kind of warning. We don't ever go up in our attic. Well, wouldn't it be nice if you had something that sounded an alarm and shut the water off if that were to happen? Oh my God, yeah, they have something like that? Yes, they do. Okay, so that's option number 2 now. Mentally, I haven't written anything yet, right? And then when I pull these attic stairs down, first of all, you can see the difference of the temperature in the hallway. I usually carry in a digital, one of those laser thermometers with me. and I'll actually show them how hot that is. And then they start, well, what can we do about that? Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's simple. It's an attic tent. And it's just like, Ms. Jones, if you've ever had a pizza delivered to your house and you see them walk in and they have that little box that's Velcroed and they open it up. Oh yeah, that keeps the pizza hot. Well, it's the exact same technology we put up over that attic door that keeps the heat up where it belongs, in the attic. Oh man, that'd be a great idea. Okay, so now when you think about it, you've taken essentially your premium option and you've made it your cheapest option. You've made that premium option now your cheapest option. Option number 2 is going to be the water heater with the flood stop. Option number 3 is going to be the whole thing, the 12-year warranty water heater, the flood stop, and now the attic tent. You've just added a serious amount of income, or upsell, if you will, to your average ticket. This would generate more money than you know about. We get so complacent, I guess would be the right word, with doing options. We just do options. There's just 3 options, but that's not doing you any good. It's not doing the homeowner any good, and it's not doing the company you work for, whether that's yours or somebody else's. You're not doing anybody any favors by thinking that they only want to do one thing, or they can only afford one thing. Now, so we got our basis for this, right? When I go in and I present, or now when I do present, I'm still going to present using a paper towel close. I love a paper towel close because it's fast, it's easy, and it lets you know exactly where you stand with that customer before you spend the next 30 minutes to an hour putting together proposals and options. I take a simple one of these, but I know I keep talking about it. Can you see that? Okay.
The small yellow legal pad.
Yeah. So I'll go option 1. I'll just write it on here. New 12-year warranty water heater. I'm not going to go in crazy detail either. But the one thing that I do, and if we're not doing this, we're really missing the boat, is I lead with financing. Always on big ticket items. I lead with financing. And I'm just going to pull a number out of the air. Ms. Jones, when I do this, I'd say, I'm going to give us 3 options here. And in my opinion, first option is not an option. First option is going to be for that 12-year water heater that we said that we wanted. If we go with the bare minimum option, it's going to cost us X. But if you take all my advice, it's going to be $70 a month or whatever the price is. And I shut up. I don't say another word. I'll hand them the tablet. And well, I don't think I want to do all 3 of them, but I think I want to do the middle option because I'd really like to know if my water heater's leaking. Great. Can I get you to circle that one? So now when they circle that one, I hand them the pin to circle it. It's another psychological thing. When they circle that, they bought it. It's very few times will you ever get anybody to back out of the sale when you do it this way. And it's not holding the gun to anybody. It's just all psychological. And when we do those kind of little things, each time that we're doing a sale and you get into a habit of it, it becomes second nature. You don't see me without one of these books very often when I'm walking up to somebody's house. And I take notes and meetings with it and so on and so forth. It's become my best friend. So
what if I have a quick question?
Sure.
What if, because we wanted, obviously Mr. Rob is a master plumber and he can sell water heaters, tankless, faucets. We want to talk about how do you turn a drain cleaning job into a change order, into some trenchless, using that sewer camera. And let's use some of the examples of, because it's hard to sell a lot of water heaters to get 150 to 200, but those sewer repairs, they're, a few thousand versus 10, 20, $30,000 and above sales. So let's get into some real meat and potatoes right now about the main topic, which is going to be the drains, the sewer camera, and the change order. And for anybody watching right now, if you want more training, okay, because we're about to unleash the beast. If you want more training past what you see right now, go ahead and visit this website. Okay, it's called www.salestrainingforplumbers.com. Again, www.salestrainingforplumbers.com. what you find on there is basically more training, more in-depth training on how you can, make big bucks, like what we're talking about, $150,000 to $200,000 a month in drains using a sewer camera. So, Mr. Rob, let's rock and roll, and let's get down to some meat and potatoes.
Okay, let's do some meat and potatoes. The camera is your best friend. It's my best friend. It's my money maker. It's what I use. I use the rigid CX whatever Versa with the true sense, so I can see the slope of the sewer and all the grade of the sewer and everything. But I get my clients involved. I don't just go camera the sewer and bring them back up a tablet to show them a video, or go in and say, "Yep, we got a problem." No, I like them involved. Involvement is key with a homeowner. So here again, I ask them the basic questions. How long have you lived here? How old is the house? How many other times has this happened? Do not use closed-end questions. Always use open-ended questions. You want them to tell you, because if I asked you, is this the first time that happened? Yep. We all say that, nobody wants to go back. But when I ask them, how many other times has this happened? This is where body language comes into play. Watch them, look at them, and they'll tell you, oh, this is the 4th or 5th time in 10 years, or it's never happened before. Oh, wow, sounds like something's changed, doesn't it? I nod my head when I'm asking questions that I want yeses to. And you'll probably see me doing this. It's become second nature. I don't even realize I do it anymore. My boss hates it. Anytime I'm going in to ask him for something, I'm always doing this. And he'll find himself doing this, and he'll go, "Quit it, Bob. Quit doing that to me." He goes, "I know what you're doing." I'm like, "Man, I'm not doing it." It's become second nature. When you practice this stuff, it just becomes second nature. Same way with the other way. If you want them to say no to something, you're shaking your head at the same time. Anyway, so I've gone through my same stuff, and I've explained to them what we're going to be doing today and what to expect. So I take them out and I video inspect whatever it is I'm video inspecting while they're watching. I sync up my tablet to it. I let them watch it. I'm usually outside. So I ask them to watch the screen on the camera, because it's a screen that's made to be outside and they can see it a lot better. But when I'm video inspecting the sewer, and when I come up on an issue, I don't tell them what's wrong. I don't say, "Oh, look at that break right there." They'll usually go, "Oh, what is that?" "Well, what do you think that is? Do you think it should look that way?" Or, "That looks like roots." Well, that's exactly what it is, a big old ball of roots. So we go through and identify these things. And at the same time, so we've identified a problem. They've got a 40, 50-year-old sewer, and it's got a couple breaks in it, and it really needs to be replaced. But now I'm going to go ahead and send that camera upstream. I'm going to send it up under the house. I want to see what's going on under there. Now we've got some heavy buildup, I find, under the house, and a small belly. It's not massive, but it's still a pipe belly. So they ask, what can I do about that? Okay, so now we've got all these things that they've asked you what they can do. You haven't said, "Hey, you need to do this." People get kind of up in arms about that. I like using things like seems like, looks like, feels like. This is really powerful stuff whenever you use it right.
What do you mean by looks like, feels like, and all that good stuff? Can you explain more about that?
Yeah, I'll probably get into that more in a minute.
Okay.
Because I'll start quoting another one of my favorite people, and because, but when we don't do that, when I say, "Well, that looks like roots," no, you better be able to know exactly what that is whenever you look at it. That's not what I'm talking about. That looks like roots. So now you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Be specific whenever you're doing this stuff. Do not guess at it. Not guess at it, but don't act like you don't know what it is. You need to be 100% confident in everything you say and do, because they will be able to, they'll sense it that you don't know what you're talking about, or your diagnosis isn't sure. So once you've identified what's going on with this, and you've been asking questions, they've been asking you questions, you've got multiple options there, just based on what we've talked to the homeowner about, or what they've asked you, what you've showed them, what they've said they thought that was. And the same thing's going to apply. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to start, I'm going to give them the options based on what we talked about. Well, we definitely need a new sewer. So, or we definitely need to make a repair. We have one spot that's really bad. The rest of it's questionable. It's scheduled 20 PVC pipe and it's all beginning to smash. So now we've got, we ask them the same things about which one do you think you would rather go with? Do you want to do just a spot repair and get you back up and running to take care of only what was causing this issue right now? Or do you feel, and that would be a 2-year warranty on the repair? Or do you feel it would be better to go ahead and replace this whole thing, be done with it, and get a 10-year parts and labor guarantee? And so here again, they're going to kind of tell you what they want right there verbally. Well, no, Bob, we've got 2 small kids. We don't plan on leaving until they graduate. I think we want to probably go ahead and replace the whole sewer. It's a wise choice. And then I go back and I do my paper towel close again. I'll ask them for just a couple of minutes. Let me go over here and get a couple of things. I'll be right back. I'll come back over with my paper towel close and the same thing. I've got 3 options here for you, Ms. Jones. The first one, it's not really an option. You don't get out of this one. That's to go ahead and replace the sewer. That's going to be, $80 a month, $90 a month, or it's going to be $5,000 or $6,000 or whatever it may be. But if you take all my options, it's going to be $95 a month, or it's going to be $8,000. And then I'll show them my options. Option 1 is going to be the replace the entire sewer. Option 2 is going to be replace the entire sewer and a hydrojet for what's under the home. And then option 3 is going to be replace the sewer and a whole home jetter. The whole home jetter special is what we call it, where we pull the toilets on the first floor drains and we go through and we jet everything. So now here again, I've made my best option or the most expensive option, my cheapest option again. And by adding on that, based on what they tell me, that's on this is definitely going to help you get those add-on sales. So the camera, it takes all the question out of everything, especially if you have a good camera. There's a lot of junk cameras out there. And I understand everybody's budget's different and what we can afford. So any camera is better than no camera. But if you can afford a high-end camera, get it. The Rigid's been the best one I've used yet. I've been using them for years and years, and I've tried all kinds of other cameras. The picture clarity is insane. The things that it'll do, the recording in high definition. And that's something else too. It doesn't like, because it wants to compress the video, it doesn't like sending anything really over more than 2 minutes because you can't really see it all that well. So when I'm editing and I'm going to send them videos and pictures and attach it to their job, I try to keep them under 2 minutes, or I'll take screenshots and just put in the picture highlights of it. Because you have, and I think we're talking, you've got 4 personality traits or 4 behavioral traits. You cannot present this the same way for all people that you would to one, because you've got these different personality traits. So understanding personality traits is a whole different thing. And I think we've even talked about going over that individually, because we don't have enough time to go over personality traits today. I could probably talk about each one for an hour. It's really fascinating stuff. But so now you've already got, and I usually get commitments on my paper towel close. I would say 60 to 70% of time, I'll make a sale right off that sheet of paper. And then I'll tell them, well, we obviously can't work off of this. Everything's got to be put in proper writing today. If you can give me a few minutes, I'm going to go out there and I'll write all this up and I'll be right back in. I'll get your approval and I'll have answers when I come back in of when we can actually start this project. And I'm usually going to have somebody there. On sewers is one of the toughest sales there are. They say that a sewer salesman you got to have some thick skin, and it's not an easy, it looks easy, but it's not easy. They say it is the hardest sale in plumbing, period, and in a lot of in-home services. Why? Well, it is tangible. Yes, you can see it, look at it, touch it, taste it, and all that good stuff, but only for a short amount of time. You're going to cover that stuff up in a couple of days and they'll never see it again. They never recovered that investment. And people expect that when they go to the bathroom for the toilet to flush, you don't get to add that to the price of the house. So if you wait too long, people can sit around and think about it and start getting buyer's remorse before they've ever even done the job. And I like to get a shovel in the ground that day, if I can, that day. I want to start digging that day if I can get my crew out there. Now, naturally, it's kind of hard to do if you're out there 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Not too many companies want to come out and set up lights and dig in the middle of the night, even though we have had to do that on some larger commercial projects where there are multiple people without a system. But in most cases, you're not going to need to do that, but you want to try to get started that day. I've seen too many guys have the same issue where they schedule it for 1 or 2 days out and that client calls and cancels. Okay. They got 2 days to call other people. And they start thinking about, man, 6,000 seems kind of expensive, or 10,000 seems kind of expensive, or 1,000 seems expensive. So they call and they get some Joe Schmo down the street that says he'll do it for half that price, and you're out of a job, or that particular job you're not going to get. So definitely you want to try to get moving on these ASAP. I do not like letting one of those sit for very long.
No, let me pick on that real quick too. When I would run into stuff like that, I purposely kept a plywood in my van, a little 4x4, and I'd just slide it on the floor, and I'd have delineators. Delineators is the black base with the red cone, and you can red pole, and you can take it apart. Well, at the red top of the red pole, you have a cleat, and that's where I would tie my caution tape. Okay. And I would have some Visqueen. So if I'm going to dig something, I would dig 1 foot, just to not leave the job site. Even if it's 8 p.m., I would literally dig 1 foot deep, mark out my little 4x4 or 3x3. Actually, a 3x3 was common, so I can cover it up with my 4x4 plywood. And, throw whether you're taking out grass, put it to the side under Visqueen, and then you cover it all up with Visqueen and the plywood. The delineators and the caution tape make a square around your little job site. Now you have this little construction zone. And now they're like halfway pregnant, and it's hard to pull back at that point.
That's exactly right.
That's what Rob's talking about. If you were going to sell something on a Friday, do not leave it to start on Monday or even Saturday morning. I would start digging tonight and initiate the process, and then set expectations for when you're going to come and make sure they're, you're very limited on what you can do, because you're not going to be there for the rest of the day. It's already 8-9 p.m. right, or even later. I've done this at midnight just to make sure I keep the job, because I got called out. I'm going to spend an extra hour keeping the job, So anyways, go ahead, Mr. Rob.
No, it's okay. Yeah, because a lot of times, let's say, for instance, the son or the sister or brother or somebody calls, hey, what ended up happening with your sewer? Oh, I'm having a new one put in on Monday. This is Friday, right? And they said, how much do you pay for it? Well, I'm paying $6,000. Oh my God, they're taking advantage of you. My guy only charged me $2,000. So you guys get it. We all know it. We've all had it happen to us. Prevent it from happening. Secure your sale. And I mean, that's definitely what I have to say about that one. But so let's go through the rest of the process.
Yeah.
So now, so you're at the table, you get your signatures and everything.
You're at the table.
And I've done my financing. If you guys aren't offering financing, man, you need to get on your owners to get financing. Or if you're a business owner and you don't have doing financing yet, you need to really start doing it. It makes all the difference in the world of getting a $2,000 job versus a $10,000 job. And if I'm not advocating for any finance company whatsoever, but I've seen them all over the years. I mean, and here lately we're using one called Good Leap. Dude, it's not uncommon for me to go in there and get them approved for $50,000. And then and so they have the highest approval rate of any financing company we've ever used. Easy to work with, easy to do change orders on. I can do it right on my tablet, and I don't have to call the company to do a change order. It's all done right there on my tablet. So it's extremely nice to have that in your arsenal of tools to be able to offer your clientele.
So
So
you said tablet. I'm assuming you're using Service Titan or House Call Pro or something like that, right?
correct, we use Service Titan.
Okay,
We
so Service Titan, I want to slow it down just a little bit. Service Titan will offer the finances in there, but there's a reason why Rob's writing it on a piece of paper. I come from the days of plumbing where like the tablets were new and they were just starting to unroll. And this was like 5, 6 years ago, right? But before
yeah,
that, we were all writing paper invoices.
every
That's where I'm born out of. So I loved it. I would grab a white piece of paper, draw my house, what I'm going to cut out. And then in the color, I would say, I would put the different prices, spot repair, sectional repair, or, from this house to the street. And then I would put the prices on the picture and make them circle what they want, just like exactly what you're talking about.
right.
So could you explain the science behind, if it's on Service Titan, it's on the tablet, why are you still writing it on paper? I know why, but I'd love for you to explain to everybody else.
Okay. I write on paper because so many people still prefer paper. I prefer paper. I'm 56 years old. I come from the generation plumbing where I was putting sheets of carbon between the invoice pages so the customer could get a copy. So,
The credit card swiper, remember those?
oh my God, yes, I do. I was like, oh my God, it's too funny that I've seen this go the way it has in my career, from paper to tablets to digital to carrying a phone that is a computer. But I use paper because it's simple. I can edit it quickly. It's easy to do. I hate saying this, but it's kind of like going into a car lot. They do the same thing. They've got an angle on that, and we can get into more about that later. But I use this because so many people still like paper. And let's take it a step further. Okay, anybody I feel that's over the age of 50 is going to prefer paper. This is I'm serious. I mean, when it comes to a book, I'd still rather read a book than listen to or than watch it on a Kindle. When it comes to reading a news article, I'd rather have a newspaper in my hand. That's just me. And there's so many people, Gen Xers, boomers, you need to be using paper. I'm serious. It's a game changer. I went out and invested in a small Hewlett-Packard laser jet to put in my truck. It operates on direct Wi-Fi. If you don't think you can get one of these and put it in your truck and make it work, you've got another thing coming.
Most printer, right?
I'm talking a printer. I'm talking a laser printer, black and white. I don't use color. It's too much bling, I think. And also I'm kind of tight. I don't like spending more money than I have to, but the black and white's perfect. If you want to take it up a notch and go with the color, my suggestion is do not buy a laser jet. You'll regret it. You'll be putting more ink in that thing than you can possibly imagine. I know, because from experience, I threw it away after the second time I had to get ink, and I went out and got a laser printer. You get a lot more prints per one of the cartridges or the toners. But one thing I do for my clients, let's say, for instance, at 40s and up, as a rule now, I will go in there and I'll take a screenshot of my options. I keep it simple, and then I'll send it over to the printer and I print it, and that's what I go back in with. I'll go back in there and I'll hand them that piece of printed paper. You want to talk about the wow effect, and if you're dealing with somebody 50 or above, you've just majorly increased your chances of that sale. Really, with anybody, if you go out to your truck and print off a piece of paper and bring it back in, they're going to be impressed as heck, because nobody does that. There's very, very few of us that carry printers in our truck and want to invest in our craft to do things like this. It's a game changer. All these little things you invest in, the tools. I look at my printer as a tool, and it's a sales tool for me, and it's extremely effective. A lot of times I'll print up my findings form, which I put a buttload of detail in there, because I want to be able, if I ever have to go back or if somebody else has to go back, they can see what I did. No, we didn't work on that toilet. We worked on the master bath toilet. Oh yeah, that's right. But document the crap out of it. And then I'll attach at least two of the most important pictures to that findings form. And I'll even print that out. And it even shows the little pictures of what's going on with them. That's one of the most effective tools that I can say that's been a game changer, is having a printer. And what's nice about that too, let's say, for instance, you want to go in there, that sewer that's 80% obstructed from a pipe misalignment. Well, I can get a picture of that. I'll go into my pictures on my tablet, and I'll go in and edit that picture. Picture editing is one of the strongest, most powerful things that you can use, especially when you go in and edit that. You circle the size of the pipe, and then you show the amount of room that things are actually getting through. You can put, right on there, 80% pipe misalignment, and then show them that picture. That just reminds them again how bad it really is when you're coming in there to present them their options and close the sale. It's just another really powerful thing to use.
Keep pointing at that paper with the problem as you're presenting, so they remind themselves. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really powerful thing to use. I mean, pictures speak 1,000 words. How can you hide from that when I just set it in front of you on your table? Because as far as they're concerned, the camera part's done. We're finished with that, but I bring it back in to remind them, because it has not gone away yet. And something I tell them, hey, this problem isn't going to fix itself, and it's not going to go away. It's just now, if it's something that's new, well, this has just begun. We need to get this taken care of as soon as we can.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes the customers aren't respecting the problem enough, and they're like, just make it really quick. I like to use words like, the pipe is broken. Like, if I see roots, I don't care if they go through a fitting and the fitting is still intact and they went through a hairline crack. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say it's broken and there's roots in there because that fitting it's broken. It's not working right. It allowed roots in. So I think that we will choose our words very precisely, and some guys are scared to say extreme stuff, or they feel like they're being pushy, or some guys are being way too pushy and saying extreme stuff, right? But anyways, we have about 10 minutes left on this, so I'm going to let you continue here, Mr. Rob, so you can give us some meat and potatoes on how do you get, I'm just curious, like, because I feel like a lot of us can sell $50,000 a month. Can you tell us how do you sell 150 to 2 though, with the sewer camera and all that good stuff? I'm going to let you continue doing your thing, sir.
Well, I just look at every single call as an opportunity, whether it's a recall, I love pissed off customers. They're passionate. The ones that are upset, you're late, or you had to get rescheduled, or the last guy that was out there, the types. Don't freak out on those people, especially when you're going back to a warranty type of situation. I love warranties or recalls, if you will. Yeah. There's a problem there. Let's go take care of it. The last guy didn't sell them. Chances are you will. The problem didn't go away, did it? But I'm consistent. I use a process. Now, my process is considered a little unorthodox because I'm completely real and transparent with my clients. I keep it real as I can. As a matter of fact, some of my favorite neighborhoods to work in would be considered, and we all would consider it, the hood. It's a lower income areas. I love working in low income areas. Why? Because most of their stuff is paid for, and they can finance more than you have any idea of. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. But you can tell that kind of customer, a lot like my customers, a lot of times I've gotten to where I can tell their personality by the way their house looks. If it's all crazy and wild with decorations, that person's an I. Chances are they're a high I personality, and they like to be expressive. But as far it's add-on sales, it's taking your least expensive or your most expensive option and honestly and ethically making it your cheapest option. You've already asked them which one of the repairs they want. Do they want the budget? Do they want the silver? Or they want the gold package? When they tell you they want the gold package, it just became your cheapest option, because now you're going to add to that. You're going to add to that the things that they said that they were interested in, or the things that they asked you questions about. And you can get them talking. You don't have to say a whole lot. Homeowners, I had an interesting clientele 2 days ago. She was a high I, he was a retired engineer. And one of my guys was with me, and I said, now I want you to watch this one and pay close attention. I said, I think I can get them to work against each other. And sure enough, we did. she wouldn't quit talking, and I had to keep, I thought I was going to have to keep bringing her back, but he did it for me because he's a C. He doesn't have time for all the chit chat and stuff. He wants the meat and potatoes on this. What's it going to take to fix it? And he would start shutting her up. Honey, that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about. And so she goes, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And I'd continue talking to him. He didn't want to do the big $50,000 repair that's probably needed under the slab. So he saw the tree roots in the sewer line outside, and that's something that he could fix. And man, when he zeroed into on that, so he had already told me he doesn't want to do anything major under the house. He wants to take care of those roots. A lot of guys are going to kind of freak out because they're going to miss their home run, you know, and they're going to screw up a complete sale by trying to push him into something he's not going to buy. I knew right then and there they weren't buying a $50,000 repair. But he had already basically already told me he wants to fix those roots. And so when he did that, that allowed me to add on a whole house jetter. Even though they didn't want to do the $50,000 repair, I was able to get a whole house jetter special on that. And what else? I'm trying to think of what else went on. I think it was like a case of Bio 1. So even though he said he just wanted the jetter or the spot repair, I still got a $10,000 sale out of the job. So I'll take a base hit, I'll take a double, and I'll take a triple any day of the week, because 4 base hits will score you a run, Jack. And I'll take all those all day long. I like a balance of big jobs, small jobs, and medium jobs. But I love small jobs. They're easy to get in and close. You get your money and you go. But I like to have that balance. We just need to start paying attention to what people say. Ask the right questions. And you don't have to even talk much. A lot of people will tell you what they want based on the things that you bring to their attention. It's in the questions that you ask them. You need to, when's the last time you went to a doctor, a good doctor? Doctor's going to ask you a crap load of questions. And there's a reason for it. He doesn't want to go down the wrong rabbit hole. He wants to get you fixed, and he wants to zero in on what's actually causing your issues. The exact same thing and the exact same approach I suggest to everybody in our industry to start doing. You were there to help them. They didn't call you because they have nothing better to do. Well, some might do that, but I mean, who wants to take time out of their day because they don't know when the plumber's even going to show up? Yeah, they're just like Comcast or Xfinity. They tell you you're going to be there between 12 and 1, and they don't get there till 6 o'clock. They don't have time to waste on that.
Right. I agree with you. Well, we got about 6 minutes left. What are some other good meat and potatoes that you would say wouldn't? So let me just touch base on this. I love everything that you're saying. My biggest takeaways today so far have been the printer in the van, and print out a picture of that corroded pipe from the sewer camera. Print out your options and present them in that fashion, even though you have service types to anybody over 40. So does that mean anybody under like 40 and below? Are you coming in with the iPad, or are you still using the sheet?
Anybody that's 40 and below, or let's say 30 and below, I'm going to use my iPad.
Okay.
I'm because they were raised on it, and they prefer that over paper. And plain and simple. But here again, and like we'll probably have to go into this more later, I'm going to present to a D different than I'm going to present to an I, different than I'm going to present to an S or a C. And I'm going to present these things differently. But if if you don't use a procedure, a system every time you go into the house, and you don't know who to find somebody. I mean, there's all kinds of different systems out there. I mean, there's got to be 50 different people out here teaching various systems, but you want to be consistent with the same thing you do each time. Practice it till you get normal at it. And the next thing you know, you're going to be doing this stuff and you don't even realize you're doing it. Let's see here. I've got some other stuff. One thing I want you guys to do, if anybody likes reading or don't like reading, get the audio books. It's really good. One of the best books that I've ever read was Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. The guy is a beast. He's an ex-CIA or ex-FBI hostage negotiator. One of the best guys Yeah, one of the best guides. That's who I got the looks like, feels like, seems like from. All kinds of different things you can do. If I had to recommend any one book, that would be the book. Would be Never Split the Difference. Negotiating as if your life depends on it. But getting back to these things about how do you sell that kind of work? Well, when we go back, I mean, I highly suggest you go back and follow up and ask for referrals. You want to definitely ask for reviews. Everything's gone to reviews today. And I even tell them before I'm finished or before I begin that if there's any reason that you wouldn't give me a 5-star review, I need to know about it because I've done something wrong and I need to change that. Now, at the end, when I'm finished and I'm wrapping up with everything, I'm asking people, because I don't like fighting fires, I like preventing them. I will ask them, are you 100% satisfied with the work that we performed for you? And say it exactly like that. Use the word 100% satisfied with the work that we performed for you. And you're going to find out if you performed the way you were supposed to or you didn't, because that's a tough one right there. But if you can get them to say, we're 100% satisfied, you did awesome, excellent. Can I expect a 5-star review out of you? Yes, you can. We're going to give you a great review. That's what you're looking for, and I even leave extra cards with them. And something I'm getting ready to start doing, this is new, and some people are already doing this stuff. For anybody that buys from me, that's over $5,000, I'm going to start sending them a cookie bouquet. Oh. And a thank you card. I mean, that, believe it or not, doesn't sound like much, but that stuff's significant. I mean, my boss sent me for my birthday 2 brownies. They're gourmet brownies, and you wouldn't think it was much. I thought it was awesome. Just that small little gesture like that will go a long way in clientele retention. You don't want to go and hit it and quit it. You want that customer for life. You don't want them calling anybody else. You want them asking. And if you work for a company, you need to make sure that they know that if you like working with me and you want to make sure to get me back in the future, Miss Jones, you've got to ask for me, because there's a lot of people in the company and they're going to try to get the first person out to you. Make sure to tell them that you're willing to wait for me. I mean, and so that's extremely powerful stuff, and make sure that they have your contact information. So when you are going through this closing process, and if you ask them during this time that we've been working on this project, Ms. Jones, is there anything else that you thought of that you need me to take care of for you? Of course, you did get $50,000 approval. I've got grandkids that want to go to college. What else can I do for you while I'm here today? And they usually find that kind of comical, but you will be surprised when they tell you, oh, I forgot to tell you, my toilet's been acting up, and I meant to tell you that the last time I was here. Well, great, let's take a look at it. Man, you're in like Flynn when they start doing that, and don't be afraid to offer them your services. They need it. Somebody's going to take care of it, and it might as well be you. I mean, and that's my view on that. They didn't call you out here for no reason. Somebody will be taking care of that. And if it's not you, you did something wrong.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. I'd like to piggyback on a couple of things here.
Sure.
I like that you're buying them. You said a bouquet of flowers if it's over 5,000.
No, a bouquet of cookies.
Oh, cookies. My bad.
A cookie bouquet. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's awesome. I have a recommendation to piggyback on that. Is I've been telling the guys to get a gift card from a local restaurant and send them off to dinner.
Exactly.
And say, thank you, we got your back. And that's for the bigger projects. What I've been doing for the smaller ones, let's say $200-300 call, we still want to review, and so I'll buy like $10 gasoline cards from the gas station. And I'll say, for anybody that hires my company, we're going to give back to the community, and we're putting some gasoline in your tank. I just need to verify that you did pay for service, and I just need some feedback. So I'm going to text you my link and go ahead and receive it now. If it's on, if it's Google, I think everything's different. Yelp is don't send them to the link to Yelp. There's a strategy for that. You don't want to redirect them to the link to Yelp, because then it goes unrecommended. Let's talk about Google reviews. The Google reviews, I would say anybody that's hired my plumbing company, we're going to put gasoline in your card, but I'm going to go ahead and write my invoice right now. And I need you to also write up the feedback, and I'm going to want to read it before I leave. So I'm going to go ahead and finish writing my invoice, my paperwork, and I'll be right back. I want to read what you wrote as well. And
That's a
then
good idea.
to take it a step further, I'll even say, can you take a picture of me, please? And so you can put it on your review. And now I'll stand next to the water here, the drain, the clean out, whatever it is that I fix, and I'll put a thumbs up. And here's why I started doing that is in the marketing world, that picture, if it's uploaded to the review, well, it's going to rank and there's more juice, and it's going to show up as per Google, and they're going to see, okay, this guy got a review. And then, you know, the review mentions like a keyword and a location, which could be something like drain cleaning in San Diego, California, right?
Yep. Yep.
So make your clients write up those two things within their paragraph with a picture. That makes your review so much more SEO rich and relevant. And then before you know it, you got pictures all over town that Google is seeing of you repairing with these reviews. And then all of a sudden you just become the man as per Google. You know,
man, that's I didn't even think about that. I think I might have to step my stuff up a little bit more to catch up on that. That's right. I've taken pictures with my clients before and posted them on social media with their permission. I think it's a great idea, but I didn't think about posting a picture on that Google review is powerful. I mean, that's stupid powerful.
It is. It is very, very powerful. Thank you for saying that, by the way. Well, let's get out of here. You know, Rob, I also I wanted to say thank you for teaching this stuff. I think that like some of us are really good at sales, and some of us grab some stuff that were really big takeaways. Again, for me, it was have the printer in the car, still use the paper, the legal pad, you know, write it up so they could see it. Anybody like 30 to 40 mark, whether you're going to go left or right, you know, above 40, try to do it on paper. Above 30, below 30, you want to use the iPad. I thought that was really cool. And I think another big takeaway for me with your training today was start with your most expensive option and then work your way up from there, right? So, because a lot of people will start with the lowest and then work their way up. I traditionally was just working with the highest and then working my way down. So I sound like I'm giving them a discount the more I talk versus sound like I'm getting more expensive the more I talk. And so I love that you're starting at a high point and then building from there. That's something I wasn't doing. Can you just give us one more example before I go on that specific topic, on starting with the bigger price point and building from there? Can you just touch base on that, and then we'll get out of here?
Let's go disposers. Disposers are an easy one to go with. Well, Ms. Jones, and I'm not even sure what the warranty's on them, or let's just go power. Do you want to go with the you know, you described all the benefits and features from the half horsepower up to the 1.1, right? And they decide that they want that 1.1 disposer. Excellent. Now, that's a really great choice. Hey, I was noticing your faucet here too. When you're ready, I have the perfect faucet for this kitchen sink. You know what? That's right. Well, tell me what you love about that faucet. Nothing. I hate it. My husband got that and it's stupid. I just can't stand this faucet. Really? Well, I've got the perfect. Well, can you show it to me? I love doing that. I'll bring in a couple different faucets. But so now we've got that. And then let's say, and the basket strainer on the other side doesn't look stellar. It's not leaking though, or anything like that. So then they tell me they want the 1.1. Okay. So now my most expensive option is now my cheapest option again. So now we're going to put in the 1.1 horsepower disposer. Option 2 now is the 1.1 horsepower disposer and that new faucet that they talked about. Option 3, disposer, faucet, and a new basket strainer. So you will be surprised at how many people will pick the third option. Since I started doing this, it has been a game changer in my average ticket. My closing rate has gone up by doing it this way. It's something I'm just coming into my own, and we can talk about that later about why. But it's just made an unbelievable difference in how I'm taking care of my family, how the customer views me, and how my employer views me. So it's for me, it's a 3-win. It's a win for everybody. The customer's happier, the boss is happier, and obviously my wife is happier. So everybody's happy by the way we do this. And me, I'm driven by a conscience. I've got to be able to sleep at night. So I sleep like a baby with every client I take care of, not with them, but I sleep at night like a baby, knowing I did the very best for them and I did what was right for them. And so I have no issues with anything I ever do with my clientele, ever. And I like to sleep like that.
Ethical sales training is what we went through today. Thank you so much, Mr. Rob. We'll be recording some more in the near future. Again, if anybody watching this wants to learn more in depth, we have multiple videos that talk about sales training for plumbers. All you got to do is go visit this website. It's called www.salestrainingforplumbers.com. All right, Mr. Rob, let's get out of here for today, and I will see you guys on the next one.
Appreciate you, man. Good seeing you, Tony.
You too.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.